Have you been told to lift with your legs and not with your back? What if I told you this was some of the worst advice you've ever been given? Let me explain. Low back pain is the #1 disability in the world, costing us billions of dollars per year and affecting hundreds of millions per year. But many of these people are told the reason for their pain is due to their posture or because of how they picked up that one thing the wrong way. But this reasoning is really where the problem is. And I'm going to explain exactly how this depends on your unique situation and how to determine if you should be lifting with your legs or your back. My name is Dr. Grant Elliott, and we have helped thousands with back pain and sciatica fully recover through our one-on-one online coaching program. So I feel we got a pretty good grip on this subject matter, and I hope to provide some helpful insight today. Now, before I can tell you exactly if you should be lifting with your legs or your back, let's debunk 2 myths that will help provide some clarity and context. Myth number 1, posture in back pain. So many people are told that their posture is bad or the reason for their pain. However, up until this point, there's no conclusive data that posture directly causes someone pain. There is only associative data. And it makes sense that people who are in pain are probably going to be standing in strange postures to avoid pain. So correlation is not causation, and there's no evidence that says posture is the reason for someone's back pain or can cause back pain. Number 2, that flexion of the spine in general is bad. Everybody thinks that bending the spine is like a bad thing that sets you up for injury or like problems in the future, but yet your body was made to be able to bend. If that was a harmful movement for your spine, we wouldn't be able to do the movement. Your body's able to do the movement, therefore it's a normal movement. If this movement was magically going to just injure millions of people, then we probably would have died off a long time ago, but the human race is still here. So it's a normal movement, it's an everyday movement, and there's nothing to be afraid of in regards to spinal flexion. And if you want to take it to the extreme, you can see that strongman competitors will pick up multi-100-pound Atlas stones as part of their competition with a rounded back, and they do this consistently. So there's nothing to be afraid of inherently about flexion itself. And even when trying to draw a conclusion if lifting with a rounded back caused more low back injuries, a meta-analysis in 2020 still was not able to provide any conclusive evidence. Hey, real quick, I know you're struggling with pain and obviously want to fix it. So if you just text me the word pain to 317-751-9509, I will send you my free back pain fix demo. Just text that number and you can fix your pain. Thank me later. Back to the show. Now, with that being said, when should you be picking things off the ground with, quote, perfect posture, and when should you not? If you are actively struggling with an acute low back or sciatica disc issue, acute, meaning 0 to 6 weeks, then you might not be wanting to pick things off the ground consistently with a rounded back if this is a trigger for you. So if you just recently injured your back and every time you sit for long periods or bend forward or try to stretch your hamstrings, let's say, that consistently increases your pain and it causes you to flare up and not feel good for a while after, then yeah, I would not blame you at all for trying to temporarily modify your positioning when you go to pick things off the ground. Normal everyday things like dropping your cell phone on the ground or picking some, laundry off the ground or whatever. I would not blame you at all. And I would in fact possibly advise you to make sure that you are positioning your body in a way that will not consistently trigger the pain that would then leave you in an elevated state of pain for the rest of the day. So this is a scenario where temporary modification of your movements would be indicated, but it is extremely important to understand that that is not a permanent modification, and that when you're in that state, if you're being told, hey, the reason you're in this is because your posture was bad and because you pick things off the ground with bad posture, so you need to look like straight 2x4 for the rest of your life. That is not an appropriate explanation, and this is not something that you should continue to do for the rest of your life. This is a temporary movement modification. So once you get out of the acute stage, because you're receiving the right treatment, the right rehab plan, and you're feeling your pain get less and less and less, and you're feeling good, you should slowly start to reduce your guard and come out of these strict movement parameters and eventually move or bend however feels natural to you. Now, when should you be picking things up with your back and not with your legs? Pretty much in any other scenario, if that's what feels natural to you. So for most normal human beings that haven't had some message in their head where they feel like they need to move like a robot now for the rest of their life, when you go to pick up everyday things off the ground, you're probably not setting up like a perfect squat and freaking out about your form. You're probably just bending over and picking things up with a rounded back because it's just the most convenient, efficient way to do so. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you are not struggling with a lower back issue, you do not need to all of a sudden obsess about your form. If you are past a lower back issue and you're feeling okay, there is no reason to obsess about your form and move like a robot. This is unnecessary. And in fact, if there was a point in time where you were dealing with pain and you were told to temporarily modify your positioning, but then you never left that stage, you forever stayed frozen in that stage of, I need to sit super straight and I got to pick things off the ground with a perfectly straight back and move like Frankenstein, and I'm never going to leave that because I never want to get injured again. That actually causes more harm than good, because it can rewire your brain to memorize that if you move any other way than in that strict placement, that then you will feel pain. And this is how chronic pain begins, a rewiring of the brain where you train it to think this way equals no pain, this way will cause pain. It memorizes that, and then you get into a vicious cycle. So in the context of just daily life, there's nothing wrong with just picking normal things off the ground with a rounded back. There's nothing inherently wrong, and you should not be afraid of doing this if you're a generally healthy person. If you are struggling with an acute issue, then yeah, we might advise you to temporarily modify your movement, but that's for a very short period of time to ensure that your rehab program can be as successful as possible. You can make the most progress as quickly as possible without causing you to go a few steps back by picking something up the wrong way. But if you're in our program, our goal would be to get you pain-free as quickly as possible and back to lifting and strengthening as quickly as possible, so that you could very rapidly get out of that fearful, fragile mindset of moving through everyday life, because we don't want you walking on eggshells. The worst thing you can do for your back is always worrying about your back. So let's take the worry away and let's replace it with confidence. And if this topic really hit home for you, but you're still unsure of exactly how to regain that strength and how to regain that confidence, then I have something for you. Just text me the word pain to 317-751-9509 to get a tailored step-by-step plan to permanently fix your back and sciatica issues using our centralization process. Do it right now so you don't miss the opportunity to finally get yourself out of pain. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Join my Facebook group, RehabFix Low Back Program, for more free content, resources, and guides. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.